In the last video, we were discussing some of the incongruities between consciousness and the brain. We were also talking about meaning and purpose. How do we actually know if there's a meaning or purpose to life? Because many people will say, I make the meaning of my own life. And the thing that goes through my mind is, why would you have to make a meaning if you already had one? And so, I would like to propose, since I used to be an atheist, and now am a Christian, I believe that there is a God who made us with a reason. And I believe if we cooperate with that reason and help achieve it, there will be rewards. However, there will also be consequences for failing to achieve it or being an obstacle, a detriment, a disruption to it. So it's pretty important to know if there's a God and what his purpose is. Now, I understand many of my audience, much of my audience, are atheists. And I understand that if you disagree with the things I say, I was in your shoes. So I'm trying to reason with you where you're at. And if you disagree, and you're certainly allowed to, I respect that. Because I was there. I know what it's like. And I want you guys to think about the things that I say, even if you don't agree. And that's really why I'm here. I'm here because I am thoroughly convinced that there is a reason and a purpose. And I'd like to share the reasons that I believe that and continue to believe that. Now, if you ask an atheist who believes we evolved, now I know there are believers in God who believe we evolved. They're not the ones I'm talking about right now. If you're an atheist and you believe we evolved, I have two major problems. Number one, if you believe we evolved and that the laws of nature are absolute and that there is no God, then you must believe that we are obeying the laws of nature, both in body and mind. You believe consciousness is equivalent to the brain, and the brain, which is made of matter, obeys the laws of nature, which means the laws of nature dictate everything we think, say, and do. So you can't really say anything, or anyone, is right or wrong, simply because the laws of nature are never right or wrong. When a rock falls off a canyon, or when water goes over a waterfall, you don't say nature is good or bad, you just say it is. And so we would be no different if our brains and consciousness are just obeying the laws of nature. The laws of nature would be the cause of everything we do. So if you ever want to say this person is good or bad, they did right or wrong, well, they couldn't have done otherwise, since their brain is obeying the laws of nature, and to violate the laws of nature would be a miracle, supernatural, metaphysical, and you wouldn't want to admit to that. You certainly don't believe in things like that. And so, if you want to believe in choice, you'd have to believe that the mind can control matter. You'd need a mind over matter. If the mind is simply obeying the laws of nature because it's made of matter, I don't see how there could be a choice. How could you do otherwise? That's my first concern. My second concern is this. If you ask an atheist, why do people believe in God within atheism? If there is no God, why would people in the world believe in God? And they would say something like this, that it is a vestige of our evolutionary history, that people, as we were emerging out of the animal kingdom, they began to explain things by inventing gods, but since we have now invented science and are discovering things, we can shed those old beliefs. And anyone who believes in God still is either not as evolved, or they're stupid, or they're thwarting intellectual and evolutionary processes. Now, let's say that was true. Let's grant them that for a moment. Isn't morality, just like the belief in God, isn't that a social, cultural phenomenon that evolved over time? Because if you ask a fish, hey, do you think it's wrong to murder, or do you think it's wrong to steal or lie? The fish would say, so if evolution is a changing process, and we changed such that we became believers in God and believers in morality, it occurs to me the same people who will say you're stupid for believing in God will also turn around and point a finger at you and say you're wrong for doing this, that, or the other. When isn't morality also a vestige of our evolutionary history? Aren't we beyond that now that we look back and understand where it came from? Can't we transcend it, since we know that it's just an illusion, essentially? Sure, it may help us survive, just like belief in God helped other people to survive, but we're beyond that now that we know all about it and where it came from, right? I don't see how an atheist can accuse anyone of right or wrong, because number one, within the laws of nature, if everything is dictated by the laws of nature, they couldn't have done otherwise. And number two, where are you getting the standard of right and wrong? Where'd you get this idea of right and wrong if it's just an evolved thing, just like belief in God?